two. One good afternoon, Rumble Land and YouTube Land. This is Larry Barnett. Danny Marshall is with us. She's always our very special guest, and she holds a pretty good conversation. That's why I let her come on. We got a lot of things going on. We're just going to be doing a mishmash of topics today. I've been looking at Ohio's latest news. I want to share some things with you here. Let me see if I can share the screen. We'll talk about. Oh, I think somebody just popped in. Who is that? There's Chris. He's accepted, and he should be on any second now. Okay. While he's coming on, we're going to talk about some things here for um, actually some problems here in Springfield. Imagine that. But let me see if you can read right on. Hi, Chris.
Hi, nice to see you.
How are you, sir?
Oh, thank you. I'm great. And how are you?
I'm trying to behave myself, but I got Danielle with us, so I can't guarantee anything. Not at this point.
I love how I get the blame.
Well, I mean, you're there, you're accessible, and so on.
Yeah.
You. What area was I going to read? Okay. Mm, Delaware County, we're not interested in that. Okay. Load up for me. There we go. Got a little bad weather coming our way.
Yep.
Moving in
That's
on
why
Tuesday.
it's here now. That's why the light's on. It'll be nice and bright one minute,
Does
and
it
then the next
really?
minute it's dark and
Yeah.
looks like it's gonna rain.
And I have a
'Tis the
co-host
season.
tonight.
Poop
You usually do.
times. Hold on. We have made proper decision on that situation's time. We do have the matter under advisement. We'll point a board study, look into that. But in the meantime, ask your immediate podcaster, whoever that might be. Let's take a look. There we go. Latest news in Ohio today. Spectrum News. Stay aware as storms move in Tuesday. We're right on the southern edge of that. We may get by and not have some bad storms here. We've had enough of them, that's for sure.
You want to see the hail
I
damage
was
down here
trying to
from that
find
last one?
where. What?
You want to see the hail damage down here from that last one? I swear, every car lot in
Oh,
town has
oh.
those little pop-up hail damage things.
That that makes insurance companies' butts clench up. It's a lot of money to have to pay for hail damage.
Houses with the vinyl siding have little holes
Anything?
punched in them from where the hail was hitting the houses.
Ooh, ooh. Inmates build ODOT trucks. Is that a fact? Winter may be over, but year-round trucks are being built for the Ohio Department of Transportation. At the Chillicothe Correctional Institute, a specialized workshop is transforming ordinary trucks into customized vehicles for use across the state while changing the lives of the men behind the work. Inside the correctional institution's vehicle modification shops, they do fabrication, customize the ODOT trucks. I think that's a good idea.
Mm.
I think that's a very good idea. Well, God knows they need some trucks in this town. They're supposed to have ordered some new ones, but who knows? But anyway, you've got that. And I heard a rumor that you had Chris, your music is about done. Is that right?
Oh yeah, we have all the tracks completed and we're ready for the digital release.
All right, that'll be
So
cool.
now
Well,
it's we're counting down till May the 15th.
day to 15. Yeah, yes, 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 yes.
And the grand total with all the bonus tracks, alternate mixes is
Mhm.
25. We've got 25 songs.
25 songs.
Yeah, so it's about 2 hours of music.
Well, that'll make a good podcast. We get ready to promote that because your
Plus,
music's
plenty of
pretty
ideas
awesome.
for a follow up.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. Now you work too. Where do you work? Tell us where you work at again.
Well, for my day job, I'm a civilian contractor for the Polish Army. And for my part time job, I translate movies from English into Polish.
Okay, okay. Well, I say you stay pretty busy then, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you try to leave your Monday afternoons open because you never
Always.
know what we're going to get into. So, what's the Polish people's feeling on Donald Trump and the war in Iran? Oh,
Well, basically, we're a pretty divided society.
hmm.
I'd say support, the supporters and the opponents are more or less 50-50.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're looking at probably a lot of that same number here in the United States, and
Yeah, we're in a pretty similar situation in political terms.
yeah, yeah. Well, the question gets to become is what Iran's intentions were with that enriched uranium.
Oh, yeah.
Um, the problem is they are a state sponsor of terrorism. They have done it all over the world in Lebanon and Egypt and other places where uh, they want their help done. I think
Yeah, and it's been like that for decades. So
it
it's,
has.
yeah, it's kind of surprising that so far there hasn't been any invasion.
No, and I think a lot of that has to do with public sentiment here at home. This is an unpopular war. It's got smells to me of Vietnam again. You have to realize these folks have been in war for centuries upon end. So they're simply going to retreat to the mountains and do what they did to them in Afghanistan, you know?
Yeah.
So
And
my
another
vote is,
problem is that there are many, many fanatics there. Like this Revolutionary Guards Corps. These guys are crazy.
yeah, they're crazy. So, but we've got, what have we got? 3,500 Marines on standby over there, fixing to go to whatever the name of that island is, Cargan or something to that effect to get
Oh,
done. So,
gee.
what?
Marines on an island. We've never seen
Imagine
that
that.
before.
That's a
Sounds
brand new one.
familiar.
That's a brand new one, ain't it? But he's losing support. Trump is losing support here within the United States. So it's going to be to his best interest to get out because people are not going to want to get involved in another Vietnam, not another muck and mire type of a war that politicians try to run. Um, I agree that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That has to be stopped. I agree with that. But I get to a point to where that the Strait of Hormuz is a European problem because we're shipping plenty of oil from here and from Venezuela. So our oil prices ought to be coming down before too long. Let's hope that happens anyway. And let's also hope that troops on the ground aren't necessary. Let's hope that we can bring them home where they need to be and let the Middle East deal with Iran, let Europe deal with the Strait of Hormuz, because we don't really get that much oil from there. I found out yesterday that 7% of the oil and gasoline that come to the United States comes from foreign countries.
That's not a
So
lot. That's basically negligible.
yeah, yeah. So they could lose that without too much problem, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see how that goes. But it's the Europeans' responsibility to keep that strait open. I think they're
Oh
going
yeah.
clearing the mines out of their waterway now and get the strait open back up, which should be everybody's primary concern at this point anyway. Um, I have mixed feelings. I honestly do because uh,
And right now it's a messy situation because it will require, well, European American cooperation because it's a
absolutely,
European problem with American troops in the area.
yeah.
So it's
Well,
it's a big mess.
somebody's going to have to monitor that strait, because it's
Yeah.
still a hot point. Somebody will have to monitor. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm just disenchanted with it at this point. I don't see putting people on the on the ground is going to add anything but an
Yeah.
additional layer of withdrawal. Now, I was part of the evacuation of of Saigon, which was controlled chaos. We pulled that off only by the luck of the good Lord. Um, then we pulled out of Afghanistan. They used the model for the Saigon evacuation to try to do the very same thing in Afghanistan. And we pulled out of there. I think they said we left like $2.5 billion worth of equipment there. Night vision, tanks, jeeps, trucks. What
Yeah.
in the
Lots of
Sam?
helicopters too.
How? Yeah, I mean, what in the Sam hell are you thinking? That's taxpayer money that you just turned around, walked off, and left. So go ahead,
Oh,
Danielle.
money is one thing. I'm worried about the enemies using it against the taxpayers.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment, but um,
Because even though a lot of that equipment was left damaged, they've got time to repair it.
and they will repair it. You can believe
Uh,
that. If not, they're going to learn how to make their own. All right.
yeah.
Let's see
Even
what
if
the
they can't fix every single thing, they can cannibalize the parts from one thing to another.
another. Yeah. And that tells us pretty much about that. Let's see what national news.
And as for that Strait of Hormuz, I think we should really look for some other route because it's kind of crazy that half of the world is dependent on this one strait, which is in turn dependent on our enemy.
Yeah, how they feel about it.
This is just going to turn into another Vietnam.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it certainly
even
can
when
be.
even when planning a simple convoy, you always have to plan an alternate route. Why not have an alternate route for something as critical as this strait?
Well, there wasn't that they were talking yesterday. I don't know how much fact there is in that, but they said yesterday, what was I going to say? That they were talking about building a canal like the Suez Canal that totally
Yeah,
bypasses the Strait of Hormuz. So, um,
and that would be a good thing to do.
yeah, that's considerable. That's considerable. So,
With the Suez, they were able to pull it more than a century ago, so Why not
Yeah.
now with the 21st century technology?
And we know Vance is over there trying to negotiate a some type of they've got a 2 week ceasefire going on now. Um, so hopefully JD Vance can get some concessions from Iran.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to be gained by pounding them into the dirt anymore. If they've got stuff hid for a a nuclear warhead, a nuclear bomb, then they've got it hidden well. They wouldn't be using it as a bargaining chip if they didn't have it. And Iran with a nuclear weapon is worrying.
And
Trump requests. So go
I
ahead.
also feel very sorry for the people of Lebanon because they're not they're a small state. They're not very aggressive, and they have always been attacked by stronger neighbors.
Yeah.
They always get mixed up in everybody else's conflicts. So that's just sad.
Well, and my mind has evolved or changed over the years. Um, we can't be the world's policeman.
Mm.
There has to be some type of concession or something that NATO should be involved in it. Everybody's taking a hands-off approach. Why I can't tell you, but as long as
Here's the
the
thing.
what's that?
Here's the thing. It's not just NATO and military.
Mhm.
The U.S. itself needs to learn that just because something's a big deal here does not mean that it's a big deal on the world stage or to any other country besides us.
Well, I can agree and disagree a little bit on that because oil price fluctuation and future prices are through the roof. Oil at one point, I think here week before last hit $150 a barrel. When its
I
average
don't
needs
even
to be what?
I don't even mean just oil prices and such. I mean
Hmm.
literally everything.
Like,
Fashion choices in other countries.
mhm,
You've got some countries where men wear kilts, other countries where it is nothing to see men in these half skirt things.
mhm.
It's totally normal for their culture in their country. But over here, people are clutching their pearls going, oh my God, they're gay. No, they're not.
If we become isolationists, and just sort of start to turn your head away from the problems that are in the world, it'll have a tendency to end up in your front yard. You
I'm
know.
not saying become an isolationist. I'm saying go learn about other countries, other cultures.
Mhm.
Expand your mind.
We'd certainly understand a lot more.
Other countries, it's absolutely nothing for men to have a bunch of piercings or um, men and women, not each other, but like
Mhm.
um, men being up close and personal with other men or women being up close and personal with other women.
Mhm.
It's nothing. It's normal there.
Mm.
That's just their culture.
Well,
That's how they are.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's not how we are here in the United States. But what I see a lot of online, and people from the US are especially guilty of this one,
Mhm.
anything different to how we think, what we do, it's either all wrong or it's gay or they're stupid or whatever. And no, that's where a lot of people in the US need a big education.
Hmm.
Just because it's not how we do things here does not mean that it's wrong. It's
Hmm.
just different. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think for me, my little brother is gay. I lost him to a fentanyl overdose here about 3 years ago. My problem with this is I have no problem with the gay communities, the lesbian communities, or whatever that case may be. If that's what their life is, that's what their life is. God didn't make me a judge, so I'm not going to do that. But I asked my brother one time, I said, "Are you gay by choice or circumstance?" He wouldn't answer. He couldn't answer that. The problem, this is my personal problem with it, so I'm not going to lay this on anybody else but me, that I can accept uh, a person very easily. I have no problem walking or working within the gay community, but they come to a point that the communities say either you accept us and our sexuality or not at all. Well, I don't have to know what goes on in your bedroom when you close the door. That makes no difference to me. What makes a difference to me is your heart, your soul, your mind, things
Exactly.
that make you that particular kind of person. So um, I continue to have a small problem with that, but uh, progress has been made in this country. Progress has been made over the last 20 years to bring awareness to these things, when before it was many years ago that you just kept the door closed and you never spoke about it at all. So um, I think with that, do you have any comment there, brother?
Well, it's very similar with me. For instance, I'm a huge fan of bands like Queen and Judas Priest, and Freddie Mercury was gay, Rob Halford is gay,
Hmm.
and that doesn't change anything as long as they do their job. They're great. They're both great. Well, one of them was, one of them still is a great singer. That's the thing that matters to me.
That's a fact. And Freddie
They're
Mercury
great
is a perfect
artists, and
example.
that's why
Yeah.
I love them.
Well,
When
and
that man, what?
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. The current frontman that Queen has, Adam Lambert, he's gay.
No, I didn't know that he was gay too.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and Elton John. Elton John. He's a great singer.
Yeah. Elton John is a great singer.
Yeah,
Has
and
been for
I
years.
have no problem with him being gay. That's just not something I care about. All I
No,
care
I
about is
know.
that
Yeah.
he's giving us great music.
And
He's
that
not
right there
hurting
is how it
anyone.
that right there is how it should be. Who in the hell actually should care?
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't care if you are gay, straight, bi, whatever. Doesn't matter.
yeah.
If you are a decent person, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Movie stars, actors, musicians. Who could I could care less what their orientation is.
mhm.
Talent is talent. Is talent is talent.
Yeah,
Well, but I have to ask you then, why is the prerequisite more of accepting the gay community is the easy part. That's the easy part. My question and my problem is, in order for me to be an associate or your friend or whatever, I have to be willing to accept your sexuality. Well, I don't accept your sexuality, but that doesn't mean for me that I can't respect your opinions. A lot of gay people are a lot smarter than what I am. But my only concern, like I said, leave your sexuality out of it and be whoever that you want to be, because that's what God put us here for.
Yeah, and
We get to make
that's
our
the
own
thing.
choices.
That's the thing because a lot of people in the gay community have their priorities mixed up because to some people the priority is their orientation and not their
Hmm.
skills, their talents, and it should be the other way around because
Now,
being
hold
gay
up a minute.
is just a trait.
Hold up.
Hmm.
Hold up. Larry, you're right. There have been a lot of strides made, especially in the last 20 or so years.
Hmm.
However, it also bears remembering that it wasn't that long ago, in the grand scheme of time, it really was not all that long ago that people that were gay, lesbian, or bi
Hmm.
had to hide it. Or
Hmm.
you would get people coming up to them and beating the ever loving shit out of them just because of who they were attracted to. I'm not done.
Okay, I'm listening.
I have I have a friend that is former military who is technically he's bi. One of his best friends and his cousin are both gay, and they are they do drag. He was working security for a drag show of theirs.
Hmm.
He was inside. These two guys stepped outside, got attacked by a mob,
Hmm.
wound up in the hospital because people decided to try to shove signs somewhere where they never should have been, and we'll put it that way.
Hmm.
I think that's the reason for the push on accepting who they are, because regardless of whether we want to admit it or not, there is still a lot of violence against the gay community.
Hmm.
And part of that is the church's fault.
Who's the church's fault?
Yeah,
Okay.
my whole thing is I don't care what your orientation is.
Hmm.
As long as you're happy and in love, who the hell should care?
Yeah.
I
Hmm?
mean, really, at the end of the day, if you're a straight person and you see a gay couple in line, it's not you going home with that gay couple.
Hmm.
You are going home to your own relationship, to your own life, to your own little world you've built inside the world we live in general.
Hmm.
It's not that hard to just keep your mouth shut and let people live their own damn lives.
Yeah. I totally, like I said, I totally agree with that. And there are boundaries, and boundaries between that have to be respected, because here's my thought. Here's my thought. I don't know enough about the XY gene to know if people are born gay or not, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to be a doctor. What I am going to say is we are creatures of choice. And just like Adam and Eve when they were placed in the Garden of Eden, as the story goes, they ate the forbidden. A lot of people call it an apple. It wasn't an apple. It's called forbidden fruit, and he called it the tree of knowledge. But at that point, people they had a choice. They could either eat that fruit or they could leave it alone. Well, they chose to eat the fruit and paid the price for it. but we are creatures of choice. That's why for the most of what Danielle just said, I would agree with. I really don't care. You're bi, you're straight, you like drag queen shows, and you're RuPaul's best friend. I mean, I have no problem with that. But when you try to force your will of what you believe on me, then I have an inherent problem with that because I think for myself. I'm not a judge, and I'm not going to play being a judge. All I'm going to say is just leave yourself in the picture. Your sexuality means nothing to me.
Maybe it's easier for a female to understand where they're coming from
Hmm.
because just like yesterday, true story,
Hmm.
I damn near punched somebody.
Imagine that.
My uncle wanted to get out of the house for a little while.
Yeah.
So we ended up at the local flea market and he went into the little restaurant they've got in there and sat down and to eat lunch.
Hmm.
Well, I was walking around the flea market building. I was walking around by myself. Next thing I know, I'm getting followed by a guy. It was like he saw a female walking alone and it was open season to try to corner her.
Hmm.
This went on for 20 minutes, a half an hour.
Hmm.
Everywhere I went, there he was. Finally, you know me, I got fed up with it. I spun around and I went, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?"
Yeah.
It didn't take him long to run,
I'm sure.
Hmm.
but I've also been simply walking down this street with two other female friends and had some guy walk up to me and try to crack me on the ass. Then I did not know this guy.
Did you punch him?
That one I did.
Uh,
You know,
I,
there's there's warnings out now that it's not even safe for women to go to gas stations because they're putting some kind of a toxin on tissues and sticking them in the gas pumps that when the toxin touches your skin, it knocks you out and they could kidnap you and sell you into the sex trade.
Oh,
It's ridiculous.
well, I guess that the only thing to follow up with, then change has to begin with us. We can't sit around and say somebody else should change to suit the way that I am. But at the same time, we have got to become more tolerant of each other. Whatever your religion may be, whatever your sexual orientation may be, that's one thing. But as
But you know,
human beings,
is it all men? No. But
hmm,
it's enough men that it's no longer safe for women. Just being straight up and honest, most women do not feel safe anymore.
well, we had had a lady here that was raped over the last couple of days, and one of the Haitians were accused of that. I'm going to switch the gear a little bit and talk about the Haitians because I live in Springfield, Ohio, where Ground Center is. The population has taken a toll on um, the locals here in Springfield. So what's your opinion? The question is, there's 18,000 of them here. They're here currently under temporary protective statuses while the Supreme Court hears the arguments as to whether they should be deported or not. The question is, Should they be deported? Should they be allowed to stay? The problem here is crime. We are number one in the state. Springfield, Ohio has the highest crime rate in the state per capita. When does it become it's like I look at it like I'm raising my family here in Springfield. I've been here almost 30 years, and I raised my boys after my divorce. I raised them here in this town. Um, why do people stand against removing these criminals, all right, out of our society? Now, I'm a little bit different. Some of my friends are very staunch about the deportation of the Haitians. They are. I'm not quite as hard nosed on it because if you've been here for 10 years, you've tried to get your citizenship, you're working to support the community. That's what it's about. But that's not the case. It happens here. 60% of these Haitians are drawing state welfare, and it's being funded also by the federal government. 60% that simply are here to take up the freebies. Springfield became a hub. The illegal would come here and get and stay on the government tit, for lack of a better way to put it. They would lay on the government tit until they got their green card, and they would move on to somewhere else in the United States. Put
You know,
yourself
it
what?
almost makes me wonder. It almost makes me wonder though,
Hmm.
what promises were made to these people that came to Springfield. You know, I I'm gonna try to word that a little better.
All right.
I understand that it's putting a strain on essentially Springfield resources.
Hmm.
But my question is, and I feel like it's a legitimate question, there's always two sides to every story. So it honestly makes me wonder, what were these people promised to get them to come to Springfield to begin with?
Well, that was work. We were told that they came here to fill jobs that the other people in Springfield wouldn't fill. Okay, if that's the case, then why are 60% of them on welfare?
Well, wasn't Springfield one of the ones that was supposed to get one of those huge data centers before the tariffs hit, and then the person or the company that was going to build the data centers pulled
Yeah.
out? Because see, I know there was a couple of places in Ohio that were supposed to get those. Like the land had been bought
Hmm.
and they were ready to go, and then
Hmm.
the tariffs hit, and the company that was building them completely pulled out and abandoned the project here in the states.
Hmm.
And they took the project overseas to build the data companies or the data centers overseas
Yeah,
because it was gonna cost entirely way too much with all the tariffs to get everything they needed in for the
yeah.
construction of these data centers.
Well,
So, and again, this is just me questioning everything.
hmm
How many of those people originally came to work in those data centers that then vanished and now they're stuck?
well, I'll tell you, at least in this area, data centers are getting a big thumbs down. They're trying to run a petition now. The bottom line, they need to get it on the ballot and let the voters decide what is what is going to be applicable for them or not. Now, each data center will hold about 75 jobs, which is just a drop in the bucket if it's that much compared to what the overall picture is. We have become a society, though, of real time. We want our answers now. We want to hear the news and want an answer immediately. Well, that's part of the internet. Uh,
Yeah,
wanting
the internet and
everything in real time. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, the internet and globalization in general.
Yeah,
We have all these high-speed connections. Everything is happening in real time.
and that's the way people want their news. That's the way that they want
Yeah,
information presented to them in real time.
distance
So,
is irrelevant nowadays.
and you know what it does though, Chris, is it creates a false persona. Now, I'm not saying um, it's right. No, it's wrong to have an assumption of someone before you meet them. Now, every bushel of apples has got a few bad ones in there. And my stance has been if Trump wants to deport those with felonies on their record, the gangs, and we've got plenty of them in here, and take the gangs out of here so people can get back to their lives, I'm for that. I have a little bit of a different opinion, though. If they're working, if they're contributing to the community, leave
Mm,
them alone. Now, that's not
And I
popular with
think,
many of my friends, but that's the way I feel about it.
well, and I think that's where Trump's losing a lot of the support for this, is because it
Mhm.
has since came out that he is in fact not just going after the gangs and the murderers and the criminals. He's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
There's somebody that served in the US military sitting in Seoul, South Korea, having been deported, even though he was a legal United States citizen. ICE deported him to Seoul, South Korea,
Hmm.
where he had never lived before in his life.
Hmm.
But that's where he's sitting.
Well, didn't they make a decision that some of those that are being deported, I can't show you one Haitian here that's made a court date. They're given when they're given those green cards, they are given a particular date to be in court to present their case that if in fact they are political refugees, they have a way to get to legal citizenship. I'm for that. I have no problem with that. Uh, the question is how many bad apples does it take to ruin the whole bushel? People have now stereotypically uh, consolidated these people into one opinion, and that's not the case. I'll tell you, I may have told Danielle this. I don't know if I told you, Chris.
mm,
About a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, we had a nasty snowstorm. Had like 16 inches of snow that piled up. Well, I've got an invalid wife that I have to take care of to be able to get her in and out and going to the doctor. So I went outside, and I'm 70 years old trying to shovel snow. And the kid next door, he was shoveling his, and he seen I was struggling. It's hard for me. I was struggling. I'll be the first to admit it. And the kid came over there and stayed with me and helped me get my entire sidewalk uncovered to where that I could get Sharon into the car if need be. And I asked the kid, I said, "Hey man," I said, "you saved my butt here." I said, "Can I pay you a little something?" And when he spoke, he was Haitian. I knew he was Haitian then. And he spoke. The kid is here. He lives next to me. He's working. He's paying his bills. He's taking care of his family. He's doing the things that were required when he had come here. Now, do we need to deport him? Hell no. Hell no. If he's contributing to the community, leave him alone.
yeah,
All right. But if they're going to ride with these criminal gangs and these criminal drug dealers and these people that are hell bent on throwing this back into a third world city, then I say it's time to go. I'm
mm,
not going to raise my kids. I'm not going to raise my kids in that type of an environment, which is the way a lot of parents feel. What does it mean? Do we, what do we do? You see, so the question is a very complicated question. And there isn't, to tell you the truth, the honest to God truth, there is no good answer. There's not going to be a good answer until the Supreme Court makes their decision for what they're going to do. But I'm just sharing. This is what my personal feelings were. You know, that kid did not have to come over and help me. He did not. But he stayed right there with me till every bit was done.
And
So
that's just called being a decent person.
yeah,
Mhm.
just being a decent human
And
being.
there is some basic criteria that we can start with to help make the decisions. The very first one being the criminal record. This would be the starting point.
Yes, that would be the starting point.
Then employment or actively seeking employment.
I mean, and that's just my whole point, Chris, is are you seeking work? Are you looking to make yourself legal? Are you contributing to the community? You know, if
Exactly.
somebody's doing those basic things, why the hell do I want them out? Because my taxes are high enough, you know.
Yeah.
That's,
And a lot of immigrants became world famous. Well, for instance, Arnold, Dolph Lundgren,
hmm
they're both immigrants.
Dolph Lundgren's an
And
immigrant, really? I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah, Dolph Lundgren. I think he's originally Swedish.
Well, I
So
think,
both of them contributed to their new home.
yeah. And then what's nothing wrong with that? What
Yeah,
what's wrong with that? So it's not as a cut and dry issue as we like to. I spoke at a city council meeting here about 5, 6 weeks ago, and I'm not a big speaker when it comes to crowds. I can do this pretty good, but I get tongue-tied a lot when I get into bigger people that I'm trying to talk to. But I did say, you know, ICE is going to do what ICE is going to do. You can jump up and down, you can do backflips, do whatever that you want to do. They're still going to do what they want to do, but they're going to be gone someday. And when they're gone, we as a community are there left to pick up the pieces and try to put this community back together again. When I say Springfield is a divided town, I'm not exaggerating. I am not exaggerating.
Well,
So,
and here's the other thing: any illegal shit they're doing as ICE agents now, it's going to come back to bite them. They're
mhm,
not always going to have the protection of the government.
well, I, I, I don't. I know what you're saying, Dan, but what do you want me to do with the gang members? What do you want me to do with the people that are just simply here to suck
But
off of the
here's the
system?
but here's the problem:
hmm
just because they're ICE agents doesn't mean they're above the law, and that's where people are having a problem with this. A lot of people are getting deported without due process, and then come to find out, hey, they weren't supposed to be deported to begin with.
uh
That's came out a lot too.
Well,
What they need to do is actually follow the rules, which is where the problem's
yeah,
coming in because they're not.
yeah, and
explain. hmm
use
Go
this
ahead.
criteria we've mentioned. Criminal record clean. Okay, employment checked. You're staying. You're a drug dealer, formerly unemployed. Yeah, you gotta go.
But they're not doing that.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. They're not using the.
Well, yeah, I don't say that they are, they aren't. I don't buy into political rhetoric, especially in a place like Minnesota, which is a huge immigrant population, and the level of fraud that was committed within that state. You know, we just can't turn a blind eye to it.
No, but the people that are supposed to be enforcing it need to be kept in check too.
Okay, go ahead.
They can't be allowed to be getting away with some of the shit that they're getting away with now.
Yeah. Well,
There has to be that's the whole reason that there's three different branches to our government. It's a
hmm
system of checks and balances.
hmm
Well, right now they're wanting ICE to run wild with no checks and balances, and that's not going to work.
I don't see them running. I see them getting a lot of flack for anybody they arrest. I've watched them arrest known criminals, known drug dealer, and as they were pulling the car out in that neighborhood, they started throwing rocks and shit at the cars. Who are you protecting?
Yeah.
Well, and
Who
here's
are
the other
you?
thing,
hmm
like it or not, some of those communities, they are going to protect the bad guys. Why? Because it's the bad guys protecting the neighborhood
Giving them the
instead of
monies
the
too.
cops.
Yeah.
So it's
Well.
legitimately, it's more than just an immigration problem. How many times have you seen it in the paper where cops will harass an entire neighborhood simply because they don't like them? How many times have you seen it in the paper where people are falsely arrested just because of their skin color?
hmm
It's a nationwide problem.
hmm
People don't trust the cops for whatever reason. People don't trust the government for whatever reason. You know, justice is supposed to be blind, but you got to admit that's not exactly how it always works here.
No, and it doesn't work that way across the United States, Danielle. It's all about the money. You take a look at people like O.J. Simpson or whatever, when
Mm.
you know damn good and well he killed his wife, yet money got him off.
Yeah, but when they announced that sentence, the look on his face, he was genuinely surprised to the
Yeah,
very end.
yeah, he
That
generally
was just a
was. But
crazy case.
they ended up holding him accountable, which was fine by me, because I knew he was guilty to begin with. But uh, those are
And
the
there was some every single piece of evidence was pointing at him, and
you
still he got off the
you
hook. That was just
you.
incredible.
Yeah, that's again, that's what money will do for you. But
They
he
had
ended up. Go ahead.
they had that glove that he lost. They had everything.
Yeah,
The blood samples.
he was guilty. He didn't fool anybody but 12 jurors, which is all that matters in this country. Is justice blind? It wasn't in that case. It was peeking out from underneath uh, the blindfold. But spicy conversation. I love it. That's why I keep Danielle on. You know, she's bashful and she's backwards a little bit. And, you know, I'm trying to get her to come out of her shell and, you know, be more open and pick on Danielle Day. I'm it.
Apparently,
Well,
Uh-huh.
she is coming out of her shell. She's getting her name printed on the album covers.
Yes. Come out of that. Just come out of that shell right now. Say what's on your damn mind.
I hate being the center of attention, and you know it.
Uh-huh.
Too late.
That's too late now. You literally are in the center.
Not on my screen. I'm on the very end.
Oh, oh,
Switch the
oh.
icons.
But anyway, I'll quit beating on that for a while. Trump requests $1.5 trillion for defense spending. What in the hell are they going to buy? 1.5 trillion. Let's see what that says. Do 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 do. Yeah, that's the largest request in decades. You think?
Is there a shopping list?
Yeah, that's exact. The wish list. I don't know how much they'll sell. Oh, damn it. Everybody wants you to do reading for free. Are you sorry, so and so?
Yeah, the usual.
Forget it.
I hate
Forget it.
these things.
Anyway, they're asking for a million or trillion and a half. That's insane, man. That is insane. Anybody else got a topic? Jump in here. Get busy. I'm just your congenial host. I'm simply here for the beer.
Oh, this kind of money could basically arm an entire state.
State.
You know what
Some
we're
places that
coming
could arm
to?
an entire country.
Yeah,
Sheesh, gross domestic product. But I mean, I understand that you have to stay up with technology, and now we're getting to a point to where that war won't be fought with boots on the ground as much as they will be fought in behind a computer screen,
yeah.
flying drones or steering missiles, whatever the hell that they're going to do with it. Technology. I had heard, I used to teach many years ago. This was back in the late 90s. I used to teach word processing and data entry. And it never failed. By the time I would order brand new equipment for what I was doing, that equipment was already outdated.
Hmm.
And that's what's going on today too. You won't hit the iPhone 6243, and they're going to keep updating. By the time it hits the market, it's already outdated again.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you
But
have to understand.
at some point, we are going to hit the wall because how far can we progress? For instance, we had CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, but how much more data can you store on a disk? Then
Right.
we moved on to the digital storage, digital media, and what's the next step?
Cloud storage.
Yeah, and how far can we go before we reach that wall?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I don't know.
And as for the drones, the problem is that still, well, we can fight a war with using drones, but still the target is, well, the
Human
human.
beings. Yeah, human beings.
Yeah, we
Uh,
can fight a war. We can fight a war using drones. Yet people put on drone shows at concerts just to make pretty pictures.
yeah,
Well, the kind of drones the military's got, those are serious toys.
yeah.
They can
And
fire
there,
missiles or fire rockets with them, and good God Almighty.
Yeah, but at the
and there,
same time, they probably can also use them to put on a light up drone show.
Yeah.
of course.
First time I ever saw those was on America's Got Talent. And man, whoever put on the guy that put on the show, he knew what he was doing because they can make some great graphics with drones if you got enough people to operate them.
First time I ever actually realized I was watching a drone show, I was watching a Stray Kids concert on YouTube.
What they had
And I was
show?
they had a drone show going on while they were changing clothes.
Yeah.
And the scary part about fighting a drone war is that, oh, there's a lot of footage from Ukraine showing FPV, first person view drones, basically
Mhm.
hunting enemy soldiers. And I just can't imagine what's going on through those people's minds because they're being hunted by something that's too small and too fast to hit. And basically, they know that within seconds they'll be
And
dead.
Yeah.
you can't outrun it either.
No,
Yeah,
you can't outrun it. Nope.
so that's just scary.
Well, that's where warfare is going. And listen, I need you two to talk amongst yourself a second. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, that joke's
Oh,
Wait, I'm gonna go
by the
too.
way,
The show is yours.
I listened to Devil's Island, by the way.
Mm.
I like it. Now that it's
Uh,
done.
it was it was probably the most difficult one to write. I had to squeeze in
Yeah.
so much information in there.
Well, not only that, but you and I talked extensively about being very careful with the wording of that one.
Yeah, that's why I specifically included the Khmer Rouge in order not to
I heard.
confuse them with the modern Cambodian army. Just to be
Yeah,
specific about who
because
the bad guys were.
modern Cambodian army that's on the island is actually pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, and basically up to 1975, there was also uh, I can't remember the formal name of the Cambodian army, the one that got defeated. They were the good guys too. So not all Cambodians were evil at that time.
Just like not all people today are evil.
Yeah, it's just 99%. And whenever I think about that defeated Cambodian army back in 1975, that must have been a terrifying experience when your whole country falls apart, the government is gone, genocide begins all around you, and you got
Yeah.
no support, nowhere to run, and probably your only hope is to make it to the Thai border.
Keep your head
And
down and hope you don't get
yeah,
noticed.
yeah, and hope for the best. But that must have been terrifying. Just like those ARVN soldiers in Vietnam. But the Khmer Rouge, they were much worse. Yeah, they would kill people for wearing glasses.
Because you look too smart for your own good.
Yeah, yeah, and if you were educated, you were a bloodsucker, parasite on the working class. So, even though Pol Pot was educated in Paris,
Why does that not surprise me?
they should have started with him.
The whole thing would have been a lot shorter if they had.
Yeah, we wouldn't have 2 million victims,
My
25% of the country's population.
my uncle wouldn't be missing.
Yeah,
Much better.
yeah, and I think it's very ironic that in Vietnam, the communists won the war. In Cambodia, the communists won the war. And then it took one communist state to defeat another communist state. That's pretty ironic.
That was a big deal with us after we got back to Okinawa, a little bit out of breath. Um, was the intelligence that we were given on that island. They were fully expecting, the Cambodians were fully expecting an invasion from the Vietnamese. That's why Koh Tang was so well defended the way that it was.
Hmm.
There had been arguments about oil rights within Tonkin that went on for years, but the Cambodians knew good and well, and they did. I don't remember how long it was, maybe in 2 years or something like that, that they did invade the country, took it completely over,
Yeah.
decided it wasn't worth their time, and just pulled out and gave it back to them. But it's like you had said, Pol Pot uh, to me was just another version of the Antichrist.
Oh
The
yeah.
amount of people that he killed, the only thing that was comparable to it was the Nazis in World War II in Germany. And it's like you said, they were executed because they were educated. You wore glasses, you were executed. And as Danielle can attest to, if you've never been to the killing fields outside of Phnom Penh, it is a staunch reminder of just
Larry, cover
exactly
your
what
ears
that
for a minute.
government was. Do what, baby?
Take your ears off for a minute so I don't upset you. I'm not even kidding, Chris. You can
Mm.
walk through the killing fields, and there are still bones literally coming up out of the ground to this day.
Yeah, I've seen photos.
In the center of this place, there is this ginormous tower that you take off your shoes and you walk up the steps to it, and you can walk all the way around it. There are literally human bones stacked from floor to ceiling. And they've got little color coded dots on them. And on every side, there is a sign that explains the color coded dots. It tells you how they died. It's insane. There's glass boxes that to this day they continue to put scraps of cloth in. It's the
Yeah.
clothing these people died in. There's a half excavated skeleton that's got a glass box over it. They only half excavated it and then just put a glass box over it. There's a
Okay, I'm too
gazebo there.
nosy. Am I safe to come on
There's
yet?
a Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Now, when
Yeah.
I was there, it wasn't nearly as bad as when Larry went. Larry got the full effect of it right in his face.
And
But
I think the
he went in 2000. I went 25 years later.
I think the Khmer Rouge, they were actually worse than the Nazis, because
Yeah.
in Germany under the Nazi reign there was actually, well, some progress. They were still developing technology, industry. There was
Yeah.
still some development, and the Khmer Rouge, they took the whole country back to the Middle Ages.
That's what their goal was. Yes.
They
I,
destroyed,
I
well, modern medicine.
I will try to send you some of the pictures I took from the prison and the killing fields. I never posted these on Facebook or anywhere because, well, to me, it would just be disrespectful to the families of
Yeah,
those.
yeah. Plus, it's still graphic, so you could get banned.
yeah.
And there's another symbol, basically, which is basically perfect to characterize the Khmer Rouge reign. In Phnom Penh, there's an old school which they transformed into a prison, the S-21.
That's where we're talking about.
Yeah, that's where we're
Yeah.
at.
S-21 and the killing fields are at the same place.
No, no, no. The school is that's
Chris, I've been there. It is the
yeah,
exact
but
same location.
Well, they
The
no,
school
talk.
no,
is
They
no.
not there
say.
anymore. It burned down.
Hmm?
Yeah,
S
What burned
twenty
down?
one.
Well, S-21,
S-21 is gone.
the school.
Hmm. Well, I visited before it was gone. That was for sure.
Yeah, when I
That
was
was the
there,
one.
it was gone.
Oh, that was the big complex in the middle of the city.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
Oh,
They would literally. They had stories in Cambodian and English on the signs that you would read, and
That's still there.
some of the some of the techniques that they used for torture was unreal.
Ooh.
Totally I mean, I even hesitate to say it because that's how
Yeah,
cruel. how cruel these people were.
And I think there were about 20,000 people going through for the S-21, and only a handful of them survived.
Yeah.
And that included
But
basically every single social group. They actually imprisoned and tortured their own party members because they were, well, not loyal enough,
Hmm.
not enthusiastic enough.
I
but
always
yes,
believe.
Chris, S-21 and the killing fields are literally the exact same location. I was there last year. That's where the pictures are I was talking about. Where the buildings used to be, there now stands a great big, I'm going to say obelisk style
Mm,
tower that stands right in the middle of the place. And off to the side, where part of the school used to be, is now a metal building gift shop.
gift shop.
Mhm.
Oh, what a place to put a gift shop.
That was what I thought. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. We're going to get into cultural differences again here. Here, people would want to preserve that as part of history. You're thinking it should have been preserved as part of history.
Yep.
Them, they're so used to being war torn, they tore it down to make room for new.
Mm,
But at the same time, I absolutely love Phnom Penh, the city, because you've got all different eras of architecture clear throughout that entire city. There are Naga statues everywhere. It is the coolest thing. The French architecture is still there. On one night of our last weekend in Phnom Penh, we went to this restaurant. The bottom floor is an ice cream shop. The
mm,
second floor is where they do all the cooking, and then the third floor, which is essentially open, like there's a roof on it, but you're kind of on the roof of the restaurant at the same time. We went there for dinner, and as we were sitting there, the every weekend festival that they had literally just started right before we went was going on. So you could walk over and lean up against the little half wall they had going on, and you can look down into what is essentially was kind of like a town square, except right on the river. And all of the Cambodians were in this town center, all dancing together, like traditional Cambodian dances. It was one of the
mm.
coolest things I've ever seen. I've got a video on it of it on my Cambodian phone that's dead and I can't charge because it needs 220. But their history, their culture, their architecture, from every different phase of it, it's all still there and it's all blended.
Mm.
The palace is right there on the water, right there on the Mekong River. You can literally walk to the palace. We walked past it. There's a guy that stands outside that will you pay a certain amount, and I can't remember now what it was, but you can feed the pigeons, and they'll take pictures of you sitting on the palace front lawn surrounded by pigeons because they're not a bit afraid of humans.
Gail
You can
Rogers
walk.
made me ride an elephant. I still ain't
Those
got
are not
over
there
that.
anymore.
Oh,
Those are not there
well
anymore, and
darn.
neither are the monkeys. But
No.
yet, you can literally walk straight into a Buddhist temple and take all the pictures you want.
Mhm.
Yes, you take your shoes off outside the door, but that's that way in a lot of Asian cultures. To them, removing your shoes for stuff like that is a
Mm.
sign of respect. Being American, was it a little weird to take my shoes off at the bottom of the steps?
Where'd you go? There you are.
I'm here.
You
What happened?
Was it? I don't know. Was it a little weird for me to take my shoes off standing outside at the bottom of this obelisk thing, walk up the steps and walk around it while still being outside, but just be in my socked feet? Yeah, that was a little strange, but only because that's not something we do here.
Hmm.
It was a cultural thing that made it a little weird for me.
There's nothing like looking and trying to make a comparison on what your home is when you've been in a third world country. But I tell you what
But
amazed me was that their memory span, they've been at war so much and for so long. Um, it's just another day. For lack of a better, and their memory when it comes to that are just fleeting. And they love the American dollar. They sure love the American dollar.
most of the younger generations don't even know that the Khmer Rouge S-21 or the Killing Fields was even a thing.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah? How about I raise you?
I don't know where Duke's at. Duke, come here. You left me by myself.
Uh-oh, dad unsupervised is not a good thing.
No, this is true. This is true.
She's been with me for 15 years.
15
Love her
years.
so much. I love
Yeah,
her so much.
I've had Duke for 9. He was when I first got him. He was an abused animal, and he
Mm.
wouldn't come. He wouldn't come near anybody. But he's uh, he's not a big one. He's not a lap cat, and but
What are
he
you gonna fix him with?
loves to come in whenever I lay down in the bed. He's right there next to me.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
What's going on?
You're about to see, I think. Hey,
How many cats you got?
2 in the house.
2. How many you got?
7.
7.
Yep.
Dixie,
I love it.
come
I
here.
love it.
When I was married, we used to take all types of sick cats full of
Come here.
diabetes, cancer, so they could have a home even for that
Yeah.
No,
final
you're
stretch of
not
their
giving my
lives.
cats chocolate.
Oh, bless your heart. Yes. I can't stand to see an animal abused. I will go
Oh,
red. I will go red. No doubt about it. All right, gang. We've been at it an hour and 20 minutes. Anything else on your mind you want to share? While you're thinking about that, let me do a little plug for the website, newsfromlarry.com. That's newsfromlarry.com. Sponsors these broadcasts. And guess who newsfromlarry.com is? I am! Surprise. Take a look at the website. You get a chance. Uh, we're coming up on the Ohio governor's race here in about the primaries in about 21 days. So that's where the high gear is. And stay up to date with newsfromlarry.com. Thank you. What else you want to say, Danielle, baby?
I guess if nothing else,
tell us where Pixie is.
she's actually beside the phone, laying at Uncle Gary's feet. Um, if you take nothing else away from the chaos that ensues when the three of us are on a podcast together,
Mhm.
take away the fact, or the idea rather, ditch preconceived opinions and notions. Do your own research, look into stuff on your own, make up your own mind. Don't just go with what everybody says you should do. If there's certain bands that you like that people say you shouldn't because you're American, you're Polish, you're British, you're Australian, you're whatever. Tell them to fuck off.
I try not to get lost in a whole bunch of that shit. It's just rhetoric.
And you're right. But unfortunately, a lot of people do get lost in that.
People believe it. Well, somebody said it. People believe it. It amazes me sometimes. Like Danielle said, do your homework. Do it for yourself. Don't take our opinion for anything. Look into it yourself and see. You know.
Although, if you ever do decide to look into the Battle of Kotang,
Hmm.
have fun because Larry, Chris, and I all know what's available online, and 90% of it's bullshit.
Yeah, it gets ignorant sometimes, and we
Yeah.
stick the tongue in cheek and go, really? I mean, you think we're that dumb, really?
Or you look at it and you go, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah, so when doing research, it's always a good thing to double check.
Absolutely. Triple
And
check
Because,
triple
even.
and quadruple check
yeah, because
because,
you can come across one source and say like, this looks legit, this is
Hmm.
interesting, but a different source might be more legit and they will be contradictory.
which, by the way, the fact that you figured out so much of Kotang on your own before you and I ever even met kind of amazes me how you sorted through the
Oh,
bullshit
it,
from the
it took
grains of
years
truth.
of digging.
How?
It literally took years of digging. And
I can
some
believe
of the
that.
places where the legit sources were kind of surprising because, for instance, the Library of Congress, some of the sources are available online. It's all right there. And people just seem to miss this part.
Well,
For instance, those photos, that whole report with those photos of the items recovered from Kotang, with Gary's ID, Gary's dog tags, this was all on the Library of Congress website.
yeah,
Well, hold up, because they weren't all Gary Halls. One of them belonged to Hargrove, one of them belonged to Hall.
Yeah, but the ID, that was Gary's ID, and the tags, at least the ones that I saw, were Gary's. And there
Well,
were also
the
their
only
foot
reason I
lockers.
know that, the only reason I know that something of Gary Hall's and something of Joseph Hargrove's was recovered, my family didn't even know JTFA was back on the island at the time. I woke up one morning to reporters on my front yard and spent 2 weeks trapped in my house. We had to call the contact at Quantico, and she had to send military police to get them the hell out of my yard, is how I even found out. Like, they weren't going to say anything because nothing of Danny's was found. Makes sense to me. They're only going to notify the families involved. Well,
Yeah,
nothing of Uncle Danny's was found, so of course they weren't going to tell us anything until they got the phone call that I had reporters camped out on my front yard and couldn't leave my house. Which, by the way, is another reason I hate being the center of attention and I don't like dealing with press.
well, lessons learned. It should be legal to put up claymores in your front yard.
oh yeah, yeah. Take a wrong step, meet bouncing Betty.
I don't know. When I was on the island that day, I think I was giving people a heart attack because I was bouncing all over that island and somehow managed to miss any unexploded stuff still left buried.
Well, one of those war correspondents from the Vietnam era, it was either Sean Flynn or Dana Stone. Uh, there was a time when he took his bicycle and took a jungle route, and when he got to the other end, it turned out that they had just finished mining that entire route.
Okay.
He didn't hit
Oh,
a single mine.
Well, all right, kiddies. We'll call it a day with that. Chris, I hope you can come back next week with us.
Will
Uh,
do.
and you never know what's gonna. I never know from day to day what's gonna pop up on my timeline. Ask me to come back on, but this is this is a
Last week he last week he was playing K-pop during our.
yeah, and I kind of liked it to be honest with you. And
Did you listen to those songs I sent you?
yes, honey, kind of out there a little bit, but okay, I listened to them. They were good music though.
They were pretty, right?
Yeah, it's got a good beat,
They're,
got a good
they're,
rhythm.
yeah, they're fun
I
to
sent
listen
him
to.
I sent him Cover Me and
Mm,
Cinema from Stray
mm.
Kids.
So, but that's me. I like all kinds of music anyway, but K-pop
Well,
surprised me a little bit.
that's okay. I've got a friend that while we've been sitting here talking, she has been blowing up my text messages with pictures that I need to go look at.
All right, folks, we'll call it a day at an hour and a half, and we're going to do this again next Monday. Keep the times open. I know that you're going to be working in the morning, Chris, so we'll try to accommodate you a little better. Try to get on it a little
Yeah,
bit earlier for you.
that's okay.
Well,
It's
to be
11
fair,
p.m. It's 11 p.m. here, so it's my normal bedtime. So yeah, it's
Good.
okay.
Okay.
with what I've got going on, 2, 3 o'clock works because found out today that Gary's got to go back for radiation again.
Really?
He, yeah, he basically bent over wrong and broke a rib, bit into a sandwich and broke his jaw, stood up out of a car and broke his shoulder.
Oh, that mercy.
So now they've decided that they are going to do radiation where all of the breaks are so that A, the bone heals right, and B, they're also going to do radiation on his hip because that looks like the most likely place where the next break is going to be.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I'm going to be back to daily trips to radiation.
hey, be sure to give him my best.
Call me after this is over and I'll put you on video call
Mm.
with him.
Yeah, I hope he takes care of himself.
Well,
You're probably a big help to him.
what makes zero sense is he did all of this doing just normal, everyday, average stuff that we do every day and we're fine.
Yeah.
Yet he can also take off on the 4-wheeler every day to take the dog for a run and somehow does not hurt himself on the 4-wheeler. Explain that.
He likes it. That's what.
It's the
Yeah, well,
endorphins flowing.
I almost rolled the 4-wheeler the other day. So,
I did that once too. I'm not a big one on motorcycles or two wheelers or four wheel. I don't sit on
well,
anything that's
this
one
was
third more
dumb.
narrow than my ass is.
This was dumb. I was going uphill on it, got sideways, turned around to get back down. As soon as I get sideways, turning around to get back down, the whole bike just died. Like just stalled, dead. And I'm sideways on a hill. I'm like, this isn't good.
Okay.
Oh, I was on a steep hill. I had been flying up that hill. And instead of going clear to the top, I decided I was going to turn around and get back down. Well, as soon as I got sideways to turn around, the whole bike just died.
What'd you
I'm
do? Run
like,
out of gas?
And
no, um, Gary thinks that it's something to do with the fuel system.
Yeah,
Like it's got a clog in it, so he's got to rip it apart and flush out the entire fuel system on it.
that's the best thing to do.
yeah, and that's why you're not doing it again before May the 15th. We need you here for May the 15th. No broken
Should I
bones,
tell you?
no nothing.
Should I tell you now or later that as soon as I got off the call with you yesterday after you telling me that, Gary and I went and jumped on the bike and took off?
Lord, 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 my children. Mm-mm-mm.
Does that surprise you at all, Dad?
No, I'm not the least bit surprised. You guys, you guys have a good day, all right?
You too.
And we'll do this again next week.
Oh yeah.
I love these mishmashes. I do. Talk about
Probably
everything.
more tales. Probably more tales of me trying to kill myself
Yeah.
on accident.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, like if
I'll sleep better at night. Thanks a lot.
well, I mean, it's just like the bike dying when I was sideways on a steep hill. I'm like, oh shit, this ain't good. I did manage to get it down and back to the house and not roll it or flip it. So there you
Mm.
go.
You're not touching it for the next month. Nope.
Watch me.
You, you you have a release. You have a release party to attend.
You can release it without me.
All right, guys, I'm out. See you later.
Okay.